Hi guys, we are back because I had to run away from the live. I had a message to respond to and it was really urgent. So as I got off, I've started getting DMs and questions about the fabric that I'm using to do the lining. I'm going to talk about that in a bit as we wind up this lining on this side. So as you can see, everything is handcrafted right from the crochet piece as well as placing the lining. I prefer to do this because of mainly one thing. Crochet is made of stitches, and I have tried going to the tailor before, and somehow I didn't get exactly what I expected. That's because the needles of the sewing machine were punching onto empty spaces. So something like this, you may go to the tailor to help you sew the lining onto the crochet fabric, and their needle may be punching in the blank spaces. So that way, when you're using a sewing needle and you're using your hands, you can kind of redirect where you want the needle or the stitches to be placed. For example, if I am sewing this, I have folded in a way that it's in the lane of the shell stitch, and somehow I'm just getting stitch onto the fabric or the lining that I am using, and I'm not just going into spaces and then into stitches. So somehow you have control over where the stitches are going to be placed. And at this point, I have made it all the way around the second upper wing. And then I'm going to go ahead and just tie here and show you what that looks like on the right side, because someone may be like, um, how about the front side? You have used a contrasting color. You can see this is very small thread. This is the polyester thread, and uh, some of you may be curious to know what happens on the right side of the work, because this is the wrong side of the work, and um, my main color was yellow, and then I have done the sewing using a coffee brown color. So let's turn our piece around and we see what it looks like on the right side, if the stitches have gone through. If you want a more detailed video on how to do this for the butterfly crochet top, please let me know in the comment section. So this is our Shelly butterfly. Oh my god, the pins are falling all over the place. I've just been trying to put them here so that they don't fall all over. They may end up piercing my hands or my feet. And then, yeah, that won't be fancy. So, oh my goodness, everything has poured down. So, let me just try to put them in here. And then we get back to the top later on. Okay, so I just have to push this. All right, so this is what we have, guys. You notice that when it comes to the lining, it has actually passed here like this, but you somehow can't tell because we have tried our best to be neat. I've been going into the stitches, not pushing the needle all the way to the front and then creating a line along the edge of the lining. That's why we are able to get a very neat finish. And then when it comes to the inside of the top, we are not able to see the skin, as so many people may be worried about that part, because I've gotten comments on this particular tutorial saying, oh, I can't wear that because it is so see-through for me. So is this see-through? This is an option that you can go for. The lining is on the back side of your top. You can decide to use the same exact color as the crochet color, but for me, this is what I had available, and I think it's perfectly fine because it doesn't even show on the right side. When it comes to the edges, you can see the brown color. It looks blackish, but it's coffee brown. But when someone wears this, you're not going to be paying attention to that detail. What are those stitches or those strings that are passing through? You may not even notice. Same applies to this side. You can see the stitches running across this line very neatly all the way across, and it has sat on our top perfectly well. So I have an error here. I think I sewed the the butterfly. You see those two things that pop out. I think I'm going to just cut this a little bit, just a little bit. I just hope it doesn't interfere with my joining of the lining. Okay, so I have to leave this free. You have to pay attention to all those details. Make sure you don't mess up the actual piece. So I'm going to go back and sew this part together, because when I, oh my god, another one. Thank God I turned it around. These are the errors that you have to correct. All right, so the body of the butterfly doesn't have to be caught in those stitches, because when we wear the top, we want this to stretch out and then create that butterfly effect in the middle of the top, as you can see here. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attach this part very well again, and you can see the stitches that I've cut are creating a very bad effect on the other side. So I'm going to just fix that real quick. Okay, I'm going to just go a distance away so that I start joining. Yeah, that's the reason for cross-checking your work. Otherwise, we are not perfect people. You may send the order to the client when it has some errors. So make sure you always cross-check your pieces before you send them off, to make sure there are no errors. So someone was asking about the material that I am using to put the lining, or what's the material the lining is made of. I don't know. I don't know much about this, but all I know is I went to the craft store and I asked for lining that is stretchy. Unfortunately, the lining here that I am using, it is stretchy to only one side. It doesn't stretch to both sides. So I'm going to get for you a little piece of that lining so that I can explain what I mean by that. So you can see just popping one string had affected this whole area, and it was going to come apart, which we don't want. So I want to correct that error before we go any further. Okay, so this is now attached perfectly well. You can go ahead and just make a knot. Good morning. So as I had mentioned earlier on, I'm going to try my best to finish this piece before tomorrow, because tomorrow I just want to set off and I go do the delivery to the client. Okay, so let me just make a note here. I think I am finally through. I'm going to just push my needle in for a short distance, and then out. And I'll cut the excess yarn. I didn't want to cut it on the knot. Okay. All right, so this is what we have. So let me go and get the lining, and then we can see how the lining looks like, the lining that I have used for this particular piece. Okay, I have a small sample here, and it's the same exact lining that I used for the butterfly crochet Shelly dress last year, I think. Was it last year? Yes, last year in January, I posted a video lining the butterfly crochet dress, and this is the same exact lining. I had some left, so there's no need to buy more fabric when you still have something that can do the job. So this is the lining that I am using. You can see how thin and light that fabric is. In my country, this is called stretcher lining. That's what I had them call it at the craft store. And you can see this, it stretches to the side, but it doesn't stretch to this side. This side is kind of locked, but it stretches to this side. So if you decide to use it for something like a skirt, you're going to make sure you place it like this, so that when someone wears this, it is going to stretch and hug the body. But the more the stretch, you can see how the quality of the fabric is affected. So you see how perfect this lining is here? Once you overstretch it like this, it's going to kind of get messy. So I prefer to just use it with just a little stretch, something like this, so that it doesn't get affected. So this is my option or my choice of lining, and it has worked perfectly well for us. And let me go ahead and match up this particular set for you guys to see what it looks like. You're going to just hold on for a little while as I dress up this piece onto my dummy, because it doesn't have to be worn by anyone before the actual person who ordered for it. So give me a few minutes and I'll be able to dress up this design onto the dummy and we see what everything looks like. Okay, let me just rush and do that real quick. Another thing that I forgot to mention, I made sure I didn't sew this part because this is where the strap passes. So you can see the base of the bottom wing is free so that you can lace up the straps. So let me just go ahead and dress up this piece. So this is taking long, but just be patient a little bit so that we can see the final look of our piece. Okay guys, thanks for being patient. Okay, so let's see how things look like. I've just done a rough kind of fit. So our pink piece is still here, but I just want to show you how the yellow is looking like. This is what things look like. I'm going to make my sleeves a little bit longer, and I'm going to introduce the variegated yarn for the base of the sleeves. Okay, let's see. Let's do the reveal. Okay, let's see. This is how everything is looking like, guys. It's still a bit messy because I've been trying to dress it up very fast, but this is what things look like. I'm happy with the outcome actually, and I can confidently say I'm going to sell this piece with one hat because I know it is decent. It's not a see-through when it comes to the bust, and then it has beautiful sleeves that we are still kind of, oh my god, check that. Guys, look at that. The bell sleeves for the Shelly butterfly top. Look at that. Okay, they're still a bit short, but I am going to do some adjustments to make them a little bit longer, around 3 to 5 rows down, so that they can get a little bit of more length. This is what we have, guys. What do you think? Comment in the comment section, and yeah, that's what I've done for today. I can't wait to see my client in it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely day. I'll see you again soon. Bye.